Hey guys, it's Carla. Today I'm working on a canvas panel with acrylic paint. I've got white, golden sunset, jack-o'-lantern, bright blue, and burnt umber. And what I'm going to do is start with my background. I've already got my outline drawn on, and I've painted the canvas with like kind of a burgundy maroon type color. But whatever color you want to kind of peek through is fine. Or you can leave it white and just paint it that way. But I'm going to start by using my palette knife on the background. And I think I want something to make them kind of stand out. So it can't be the color of them, or the color of the line at least. So maybe some blue. I want this background to be very abstract. Okay, I think that'll work for the background for now. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my darker colors, like almost black. I'm going to actually use burnt umber, but with a liner brush. But like the eye. And I know you can't see this real well right now because it's dark paint on a dark canvas, but you'll be able to see it better when I get the rest painted. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my face for now. And I'm just using a flat synthetic brush. But I'm going to mix up. And because this is a dark canvas, I'm going to have to add a little bit of white to it to make it more opaque. So, like when I chose my colors, I chose colors that were a little bit darker than what I wanted because I knew I was going to have to add white to it. So, just keep that in mind. I'm going to paint around my eye. And I can come back with a smaller brush and kind of touch that up. Okay, now I don't want all of my face color to be the same color, so I'm going to start adding in just some different shades. Almost randomly, just wherever I think it would look good. I'm dabbing it on so that I can keep that loose look. I don't want anything to look too tight. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my round brush to get some more detail. Maybe a really light shade. I'm still just dabbing at it. Now with pure white, put his little goatee in. I guess that's what it's called. Make his eyes stand out a little better right here. Okay, and before I start on my lamb, I want to get this hair in around it because the lamb is in front of the hair. So I'm going to go ahead and work on the lion's hair. I think first I need to get his ear in there. So I want the inside of the ear to be dark. And then I'll come back with this lighter color and kind of define it. All right. Now the hair is fun because it's very loose, so you can kind of go wild with it. So I'm going to start with this shade. And I'm holding my brush back here at the end of the brush so that I can keep those loose strokes going. when you grip up on the brush like this, you get too uptight with it, or I do, and it makes it easier when you can just hold it back here and keep it loose. Okay, now down here around the lamb, I'm going to keep it dark so that the lamb will stand out more. But up here, I'm going to put more highlights. So I'll go a little bit lighter now and brush some of that in. And then as I come down here, I want to get less and less of this lighter shade. Okay, and now I can lighten it up again. And each time I go lighter with my color, I do less of it so that I don't cover up my previous color. But it really does help to have the color in the background to begin with, because then you don't have to cover all of this. It's like you've already got one of your shades in there. Okay, now I'm going to go in with just white. And just put in just a few highlights with it. You don't want to go too overboard with the white. And then I want to use my liner brush to define the ear a little bit. Maybe a little more white. So I'm just barely touching the canvas. Maybe he's got some hair coming up over like that. Okay. All right, now I think I might, I think I might want to add another shade to the background, but just a little bit, just to kind of bring some of this color up into the background area. So I'm just very lightly rubbing some of that in. Okay. All right, now I'm going to start on my lamb. I'm going to use a round brush for this. And I want to start with not white, because it's got to have an undertone, like a shadow color under there. So I'm going to just mix up a shade until I'm happy with it. Might have a little bit of blue in it. Oh yeah, I like that. Now on the outer edges, if I tap the brush, because it's a round brush, it will give me that wool kind of look. Now I can go back in with my liner brush to work around the eyes, nose, and mouth. I'll just get the majority of it in there right now. All right, now with the liner brush, get right around the eyes, or the eye. And the nose. And the mouth. And let's see, the ear. The ear is dark on the inside, but it's got some white on it out here, so I need this undertone here, and then comes down, back up. Okay, on the inside of the ear, I'm going to start with this. And I'm just going to use that color that I've already got on the canvas as the inside of my ear shade. Something like that, but when I get the white on it, it'll show up better. Okay, so now back to my round brush, and with just white, again, I'm just dabbing it with the round brush so that it gives me that wool look. And I'll come back with the liner brush to get more detailed right here. If I end up getting any area too bright, too white, I can come back with color. But one way to try to avoid getting it too bright in areas is to keep your little dabs, keep them a little farther apart, and that lets some of that background shadow color come through. That way you're still able to keep the wool look, but you're not covering up all of your shadow. But also, I like to use blue as a shadow color, so I can bring that back in once this sets up a little bit with the blue glaze, and that'll give me shadows where I want it. But right now I want to focus on keeping that wool look by just dabbing with the round brush. Okay, now with my liner brush, I'm going to define the nose a little better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make that blue glaze I was talking about. So wherever I want my shadow to be, like my shaded areas, I'm going to tap in this glaze. I'm going to dull it down just a tad. I'm going to darken it up a little bit right here. Maybe right here too. I put blue here, but I think I'm going to go back over it and get rid of that. Okay. Now I see on my lion's eye that I could reshape it a little bit. So you can always go back in and kind of redefine some things. I think I see right here that I can maybe reshape this. And let's see. Before I start on this down here, I want to make sure that I have all of this kind of the way I want it. So maybe a little more hair right here. Okay, now a lot of this down here I'm just going to leave dark, but I do want to use my palette knife and bring in a little bit of texture down here and a little bit of like something going on. This is where you can kind of get wild with it and make it your own. Okay, now I think with the, let's see, maybe with the, just the very edge of the knife, I'll just kind of tap in some, almost like they were flowers or tops of weeds or something like that. All right, I think that does it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, God bless you.